Gay people have come a long way from being persecuted merely for existing all over the world to being free to marry in over 20 nations without fear of persecution. Even if being homosexual doesn't harm anyone, aside from perhaps some people's feelings, there is still a very long way to go, particularly in many countries where it is considered to be a serious crime. As I previously stated, homosexuality is still outlawed in many nations, and is even a death sentence. Since homosexuality has traditionally been strongly opposed in Islam, the majority of nations that severely penalize it are Muslim. The stigma associated with homosexuality persists, even in nations where it is not a serious crime or even not a crime at all. As a result, many people are still hesitant to come out. Regardless of what your religion teaches you, homosexuality is a natural occurrence that is unaffected by ethnicity, culture, or any other form of prejudice, so every nation should have a comparable number of gay people. However, many people refuse to admit it, even in the anonymity of the internet, and can even deny it to themselves in an effort to be accepted more readily. This is because of the aforementioned social and legal pressure. Second, LGBT people might relocate to nations that are more accepting of gays. So, let's look at the nations with the highest proportion of gays, starting with number 13. 13. Gambia. You probably didn't anticipate the Gambia to be here. Despite the country's stringent anti-homosexuality legislation, the homosexual community in the Gambia is well represented on social media, therefore it enters our list. 12. Mauritania. Expect to see many more African nations on this list, where, despite their small populations, gays are very active on social media. 11. Ivory Coast. While homosexual behavior is acceptable in private in the Ivory Coast, it is not acceptable in public, and is punishable by a significant amount of time in jail. 10. Senegal. We informed you that, surprise, Africa tops the list of nations with the highest proportion of LGBT people. In Senegal, homosexuality is prohibited nationwide, and 97% of people oppose it, at least outwardly. Well, it did make the list in private. 9. Lebanon. Due to Lebanon's progressive stance on this issue, and the fact that it is one of the few predominantly Muslim nations where all sexual orientations are accepted, its citizens may find it more natural to acknowledge this reality. 8. Ghana. Ghanaians who have homosexual relationships face punishment by the government, and anyone who identifies as gay runs the danger of being imprisoned for doing so. 7. Ukraine. Although homosexuality is not explicitly prohibited in Ukraine, as it is in the most of the nations we've already covered, gays nonetheless suffer a great deal of prejudice. 6. Nigeria. Although Nigeria has some of the strictest anti-homosexual laws in the world, this list demonstrates that repression will never be able to completely remove a problem. 5. Malaysia. According to data compiled from social media, there are still 3 million gays living in this Muslim nation, which has a population of fewer than 32 million, and 20 years in prison for homosexual conduct. 4. South Africa. The only African nation to permit same-sex marriage, and even adoption for same-sex couples, is South Africa, which has one of the most progressive LGBT policies in the continent. 3. Thailand. In contrast to many other nations, Thailand does not recognize same-sex unions or marriages yet. They are typically tolerated in public, and do not experience considerable oppression. 2. Brazil. Brazil has some of the most tolerant laws in all of Latin America, and gay marriage is now permitted as of 2013. Even while there is still some discrimination against LGBT individuals in the nation, it is still significantly better than most other nations. 1. United States of America. With more people comfortable declaring their sexual orientation, the USA tops the list of the top 13 countries with the largest gay populations. Facebook reported that there were 15 million males who had intercourse with other guys, which is a sizable number even in a country with a population of more than 320 million. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Subscribe or I will kick your ass, smiley face.